and you still, and even you look at some of the things now, and no mini camp. Nick Sirianni won't rip the front office for this, but how can a head coach be a head coach without a mini camp? That gives the players, the veterans, and the young people a snapshot of what to be on lookout for in training camp, and maybe they train a little bit harder, maybe they do some things, but the organizational edict is clear right now. We don't want anybody to get hurt, and hey, we got the 9 wins. We're going to practice hard, but we're not going to tackle the ground or anything. We're going to play him, the quarterback, 9 snaps in the preseason. We want to get him to opening day, and we're going to keep everything under wraps.
John McMullen, Jody McDonald, your Mac and Mac guys, joined by a third interested party. I love when we have Bob Grotz on. He always changes the tempo when he joins us, whether he's drinking coffee or not. It doesn't much matter. He brings
coffee. Come on, that's stateside vodka, isn't it, Bob?
You got a little stateside in there, Bob?
No, I'm not a drinker, guys. I'm too old for that. Yeah,
I know.
My drinking days are over.
All of us. Maybe not. Maybe not for me on occasion.
Yeah, same here.
So how you guys doing today?
Doing well, Bob. How are you? You've been doing it all. You got Phillies duty. You got Eagles duty. You're even doing some state championship duty. You're the hardest working man in show business. Still.
I'm worn out. Yeah.
What do you got on Joe Girardi for us? Why do you move on from the great Joe Girardi?
They were worried they were going to start winning games. They looked at that schedule. They looked at the schedule. And they said, "Damn," and he won his last game. Joe Girardi won his first game and his last game.
There we go. That typically isn't the way you go out.
That new manager it seems like a real nice guy, though. I mean, every time I was down there, the guy very approachable, always said hello. Not like
not like Chip Kelly. Not like Chip.
Well,
no eye contact.
He wasn't bad to me. You had to say something to him first, though.
Yeah, definitely had to make the.
Wait. Chip Kelly was nice to you?
Yeah,
you were the one. I never knew you were the one.
You had to be approachable. You had to say something to him, and then he would look. I mean, I don't know what the guy was really, in terms of interpersonal stuff, he was shy. So, but I know there were a lot of people that just they wanted him to genuflect in front of them, and he wouldn't, and that got them angry, So
that we can guess one of those people, but I'm not.
He's still, what Philly football coach has won double-digit games in back-to-back seasons, got into the playoffs one year and then got fired, before the end of what was supposed to be a transition season. I still, that was crazy, man.
Yeah. I talk about Chip because Chip gets probably a little bit more criticism than he deserves for being a coach. And some of the stuff he brought into the NFL is still a part of the NFL. He really was an innovator. But, man, he was a one-trick pony, Bob.
Yeah,
it was a one-trick pony.
They figured out how to slow him down, and then it was kind of, the defense got tired because it was on the field the whole game, and because of short offensive possessions, you get a stop and faking injuries and all that, and it was over, Yeah.
36-year-old Jason Peters, you can't ride him like a 21-year-old kid.
Yeah, anymore. And you won't have Nick Sirianni. His team won't be faking injuries because they're never out there to hit until the season begins. Yeah,
no soft tissue. You can't get a soft tissue injury by not being on the grass, Bob. Maybe you can. Are you going to be there today?
Yeah, I'll be out there. Yeah, I'm looking. My keys are the warm-ups because that's basically what it is. It's a warm-up and a few throws and that. And I kind of was smiling when I read some of the stories from the last mini camp. But what can you do? I mean, people got to write something. Like I don't know how people have this incredible insight where they can project everything and. And you have all these rating things. My favorite is Pro Football Focus. Like
Cliff Kingsbury, the 4th best coach in the NFL, baby.
How can that be? How can that be? And who's the guy? Sean McDermott isn't even on the list.
Sean isn't. Sean McVay isn't, and Sean McDermott.
No, McDermott's not on the list. Not in the top 10.
Oh, not in the top 10.
Top 10.
Yeah,
I think,
how could he not be in the top 10?
Yeah,
and I think McVay was like 7th or 8th, which some people believe.
Wasn't he like 11th? He wasn't in the top 10.
He's pretty good.
Yeah,
McVay is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was out of the top 10, but I could be wrong.
And we'll see too. The Rams are. You look at them winning the Super Bowl the way they did it. How can that not be a model for how to put a team together? They've drafted very well. They traded away a lot of picks, but
they did a good job with their day 3 picks. But then all of a sudden, you got to start paying people. You got to pay Aaron Donald. Then it becomes
they're coming apart at the seams. Not this year, maybe not the next year. At some point, the Rams are going to have to go major takedown and build back up because they're going to get crushed by the salary cap.
Yeah, but would you take two Super Bowl titles and then say, all right, we got to rebuild? I'd do that. I'd gladly make that.
It's an
trade.
Interesting deal. Yeah. And then, and if they ever sell that franchise, what is the Walmart guys buying the Denver Broncos?
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah.
Can
you imagine?
$5 billion.
Imagine what those uniforms are going to look like, Jeez. They're going to have the Walmart logo on them somewhere, right?
You would
think. As a favor to the rest of the family.
You would think. Now, Josh Harris was number 2, supposedly, in that grouping to buy the Denver Broncos.
Would not surprise me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
By the way, John looked up McVay number 11 on the Pro Football Focus list.
Sean McVay number 11.
McDermott number 16.
Yeah. I don't get that.
And where's Mike Tomlin, Jody?
Tomlin was 13. He was
wasn't
just in front of Nick Sirianni. He was 13.
Ridiculous.
Sirianni was 14.
Yeah, and McCarthy was in the top 10. Now, I don't think he's coached for 7 or 8 years now. Yeah, so I don't know who's calling the numbers.
Now, all the Pro Football Focus guys got upset yesterday because they were getting hammered by that, and they were, it's the methodology. You don't understand the context. Yeah, but guess what? We understand the context. The point is, if you come up with a formula and you say this is a good idea. Let's work this out. Let's do the advanced analytics. And then it comes back and it says Cliff Kingsbury's the 4th best coach in the NFL. You throw it out and say, all right, this isn't good. This isn't a good evaluation. Yeah. That's how I would handle that. That's what I think the analytics people, they start butting heads with the scouting people and vice versa, the eye test, whatever you want to call it. So we'll go there, Bob, with the front office changes. No personnel guys, all football ops guys at the top of this organization. One of them, Alec Halaby, the analytics guy. You think that's changed? You think the Eagles are shifting more towards the Pro Football Focus, and we're going to get Cliff Kingsbury as the coach here?
I think we could see it. I think we saw it last year. A lot of these, not just 4th down calls, but the way that they played. I can't, in terms of like Nick Sirianni and a feel, it was kind of like a lot of decisions to me. I'd have to go back and be specific, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But a lot of his decisions seemed to be made for him. And they knew what they were going to do. They knew what and certain down and distance and that, and that wasn't necessarily a bad thing either.
All right, since you went there, I'll follow up. Are you suggesting, because we found out last week
that Howie is calling plays? Not specifically,
no. Let me finish.
But you're on the right track.
His
director of football ops, or what's the vice president of analytics, or
Alec Halaby?
Yeah.
Assistant GM, vice president of football ops and strategy.
Okay,
is Alec Halaby.
That's kind of where I was going, but let me finish the question. We found out last week, or at least I didn't know, maybe you two guys knew, that at some juncture last season, Shane Steichen became the play caller, that it had been the head coach relaying the call to the offensive coordinator, would call it into the quarterback. At some point, Nick Sirianni said, no, you go ahead and take it, Shane. And he did. I don't think he told you guys exactly when that happened, what game or what play derived the change in the way that they were doing it. Are you suggesting that it was after a game, and how he dictated that change?
Well, I think it's an with the Eagles, it's an organizational thing, and it's the organization making a decision, and I think they did it when Doug Peterson was there too. I don't think he was happy about it either. So, yeah, so what the answer to the original question is? Yeah, I think they'll be maybe even a little more analytics driven than they were. So, and I don't think that's different with other teams with the young coaches and that. And hey, last year 9 wins, they got into the playoffs, and I still have to chuckle about the way they put everybody on the COVID list, before that last game, and they rested everybody. Remember that, so they wouldn't have a
Yeah.
COVID,
Yeah.
in the playoffs. Boy, that helped, didn't it, against Tampa Bay? I mean, they came out in a rhythm, right? And you still and even you look at some of the things now, and no mini camp. I Nick Sirianni won't rip the front office for this, but how can a head coach be a head coach without a mini camp? That gives the players, the veterans, and the young people a snapshot of what to be on lookout for in training camp, and they train a little bit harder, maybe they do some things, but the organizational edict is clear right now. We don't want anybody to get hurt, and hey, we got the 9 wins. We're going to practice hard, but we're not going to tackle the ground or anything. We're going to play him, the quarterback, 9 snaps in the preseason. We want to get him to opening day, and we're going to keep everything under wraps. We're not going to tell anybody what we're doing, and then we'll get off to a good start. And as long as we stay healthy, we'll win 9 games. It worked last year.
Do you think there's going to be a pushback from Nick Sirianni at some point if he has success?
I think there should be, but he's just the fist bumping with Howie at some of the press conferences and things. I don't know, man. I mean, most recently at the draft, he's kind of hitched his wagon right now. So, but and it's not just the mini camp. There's other things too. They're having 2 scrimmages. Who wants to have 2 inter squad scrimmages? That's a bit much, isn't it?
What are you talking about? They were undefeated last year.
Yeah, they had 2 last year, but the fact that they don't play people in preseason games, but they have these joint practices. I don't know. I'm kind of torn. Doug used to explain that joint practices. It's like if you want to work on goal line offense, you got to hope in a preseason game that it comes up, that you're inside the 5 or whatever. Whereas you can script it in practice and say, hey, go to the other coach. We suck at red zone stuff. Let's keep doing that. So I understood that thought process. I don't know, but how do you practice football without playing football?
Yeah.
I'm kind of old school from that perspective.
Yeah, they think they have the formula. So can they do it back-to-back years? This is going to be interesting. You look at the roster now, and on paper, you have to think that they upgraded. And
oh yeah,
and I also think
Talent-wise,
that I also think a guy like Devontae Smith. I mean, you start looking at some of the highlights that guy had in his rookie season. I mean, he was amazing, And I wonder. I start wondering what he would be like with a guy who was a little more accurate as a passer, lethal, like Stafford and Kupp over in L.A. So, maybe Jalen Hurts will take that step. It's impossible to tell right now until the bullets start flying and that whether he's improved or that. All you can do is at this time of year really is talk.
Bob, it's been a minute since we had you on, and I'm not sure, but I don't think you've been on since the Eagles signed James Bradbury. Maybe you have. How big an addition is that? How much is that going to free up Jonathan Gannon to potentially be a little bit more aggressive as the defensive play caller this year?
Yeah, on paper again, without seeing him out there on the field, they had nobody there. He's a huge upgrade over what they had. So, and even who was it, Steven Nelson? He was adequate, but he's Bradbury's better than him. So, but I still don't know what Jonathan Gannon really wants to do. I think this is a great year to figure that out, to see what he's going to do and how he puts all these pieces together, because I'm not exactly sure what he wants to do. But yeah, that defense will be better. That should help them do some things that they weren't able to do last year. And that should, a guy like that, that'll help the pass rush. Now, I will say this: when I looked at some of those Devontae Smith highlights, he was lighting Bradbury up. So that was interesting,
yeah. I mean,
different scheme,
7-on-7.
But
sir.
whoa,
yeah, typical.
yeah. And
But I caution people. Joe Osman used to light up Jordan Mailata on a daily basis in one-on-one drills. So those things are designed for the offense to win, and they should win. Sam Bradford would have a gold jacket.
This was a game, John. This was a game. This wasn't.
Oh, you're talking about
Joe
a game.
Osman
You're talking
the
about
press
a game.
corps jumping up and down.
I thought you were talking about practice. You were talking about practice. No, Bradbury's his own corner. I mean, yeah. I mean, Devontae's a great route runner.
Yeah, I mean,
but and not a lot of guys are going to be able to stick with Devontae Smith. I can't criticize James Bradbury for that. I thought you were talking about in practice last week, but
no.
The talent level being upgraded to the point where, look, Bradbury's better than Nelson. And I thought Steve Nelson did a fine job, but Bradbury's a better player. Jordan Davis is obviously an upgrade at defensive tackle. Now you have some linebackers. How great Kaiser White and Kobe Dean. All of a sudden, A.J. Brown, everything falls into place. Devontae Smith can be a number 2, on and on and on.
He should be the number 1. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I
know Brown. Agree. I told Jody that. I think
Brown is talented, but
I think Devontae will ultimately be better than A.J. Brown. I believe.
Yeah, he's got flat out has a better skill set. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
And to me, it's about.
And you didn't mention Goddard either. You didn't. Goddard's a weapon. So it's all about what are we going to get from Hurts?
All about the quarterback.
Yeah, what are we going to get from Hurts?
Now you're my mechanics guy. What did you see from the footwork? What's Tom House doing with the footwork? What you were telling me you saw some differences in Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I saw him on the first 3 reps.
Yeah,
the first 3 reps, and then the next 2, he was a little bit different. And by the 5th or 6th rep, he was back to where he was before. So I can't tell. Yeah, I mean, from that setting, I can't. He's, some throws were behind, some were right there. Yeah, I just, I do my best just to watch, but it doesn't look like his release. Sometimes when he gets in a rhythm, it seems like the release is quicker, but I can't tell. I'd have to go back and look at his video from last year in the games, but still, I mean, it's the accuracy and when he gets out of the pocket too, boy, that his receivers made some great catches. He made a couple of great throws, but his receivers made some great catches. So maybe that'll be something like that they'll have to do again this year. Although, you got to like that offensive line.
All right, since it is all about the quarterback and they do have to play 6 in-division games, I don't think anybody would argue that Dak Prescott comes in as the top quarterback in the NFC. How is Jalen Hurts going to match up against Daniel Jones and Carson Wentz this year, Mr. Grotz?
Yeah, that's interesting to think about. And Jody, Jalen to me is a lot like Dak Prescott. Those 2 guys, I mean, and that I'm not the first one to say that, obviously, but those guys remind me an awful lot of each other. So, and How many games has Dak won in the playoffs?
No, but he's won a lot of regular season
lot of
games.
Yeah,
regular
he has,
season games,
and he's
yeah.
put up some big numbers too. Yeah, right. He's made Pro Bowl teams, and we all. I think some of us forget that Jalen Hurts was voted a Pro Bowl alternate. You know, what was he? First alternate, John? First or second?
Third. I think it was third.
Oh, was it third?
alternate,
Okay,
yeah.
but still, I mean,
it's still good.
The guy, you know, there's a lot of players that think he's that good. So I don't know, but I right now it's kind of like a young Dak Prescott to me. And has Dak really turned that corner? I mean, he seems still like a real streaky guy, you know. But is he going to win you the big game? I don't know. But both of those guys I think they're cut from the same mold. They're the same type of player, immense skill sets, and they win games. Are they the answer? TBD.
Yeah, it was looking very early in the offseason. It looked like everything was breaking the Eagles' way. Well, not just the Eagles' way, but everybody in the NFC. And all of a sudden, Tom Brady comes back to Tampa. Aaron Rodgers works things out with Green Bay. And obviously, you still have the Rams. Is it pie in the sky to think the Eagles can reach that level of those top three teams in the NFC?
I can't. Nothing would surprise me, but I think you're talking about a team that they still. There's just too many questions still. I'd have to see what they do in the first month of the season, and I was just bouncing around in my head was the rest of Jody's questions. Daniel Jones. Yeah. He's
the Giants are rebuilding. I mean,
he's on probation,
yeah.
right? He's
right. But let me have in there.
Carson Wentz.
How do you rebuild with Daniel Jones as your quarterback?
Yeah.
How do you do that? If you are in rebuilding mode, admittedly rebuilding, let guys like James Barry just walk out the door because the general manager paid him too much previously. Okay, you can do that. Giant fans might not be happy about it, and by the way, get ready to look at Daniel Jones for 16 games.
Yeah.
How do you do that if you're the Giants?
You're hoping that Brian
process.
Dable. Yeah. You're hoping Brian Dable will do the same thing he did with Josh over in Buffalo. But what are the odds of that happening?
I think Saquon Barkley is going to be a crash test dummy this year. I think they're going to give him the ball 300 times if he's healthy and just run him into the ground because they're not going to re-sign him. That's what I think the Giants, and then they're going to reboot the whole thing in 2023. Now, the Commanders, I don't know what the heck they're doing. They seem like they're trying to win, but Carson is a curious decision, and especially what they gave up for Carson Wentz. Why do people keep thinking Carson Wentz can be the 2017 Carson Wentz, Bob?
Yeah, I don't know. He did win some games last year, but he didn't have the worst season in the world.
No.
I'll tell you this. Yeah, his owner, well, I don't know who the owner is there right now. I don't know who's technically running the team, but Rivera likes him. The owner, Irsay in Indianapolis, he hated Carson Wentz.
Oh, he hated him.
You know that vaccination status to begin with, and then there was a slight injury, I think, in the mini camp, and then he just did not like Carson Wentz at all, and he made it known publicly.
Well, that would honestly piss me off too.
Yeah,
as the owner
from the beginning, yeah. But I mean, how do you
people
play?
Get upset about the vaccine stuff. Jody and I know because anytime we talked about it has nothing to do with the vaccine stuff and what you believe. But these people went out on a limb to bring you in to be the leader of the team. Yeah. And you might not like it, but from the perspective of I'm paying you this money and you can't work with me and you can't do what you need to do. as an owner of a football team, I'd be upset by that.
Yeah,
I really would be.
Carson Wentz was never a leader. Even that great year that he had, he wasn't the leader. They had a million veteran leaders in that locker room, and and I keep hearing about Jalen Hurts, how he's a leader, and I'll take the players' words for it. But is Dak Prescott a leader?
I don't know. I'm not down there. Jalen is, because everybody says it.
They talk up Dak and his leadership skills a lot in D.C.
Yeah,
excuse me, in Dallas.
Yeah, they talk it up. Yeah, but I mean, what is a leader? I mean, isn't that the guy that when you're in that playoff game, you know, he comes up big or he does something? I'm not talking about perfect passer rating or something, but he does something to put you over the edge. You know, you know when he's on that field in a tight game that he's gonna. To me, that's a leader. Whether it's the quarterback or somebody else, you know, it's not just a playmaker, but it's a guy who just gives it all up. I don't know. I mean, that's why I made that comparison, Jalen and Dak. Very interesting to me, you know.
Quarterback. Is Aaron Rodgers a leader?
Yeah,
I don't. Is he?
Yeah,
I don't know.
He is on that team. I mean,
he's not inclusive. He leads because he's a great player.
He definitely is the leader there. I mean,
Well, he's definitely the leader because
got
he's
some
one
other
of the best that ever played. But I'm saying, is he a leader? He's a leader because of his talent, but I don't think he's a leader like Jalen Hurts is a leader in the fact that Jalen tries to go out of his way and be inclusive and get everybody involved. And ultimately, I'd rather have the great player. You know, I'd rather have the great player. Maybe we overrate leadership is what I'm trying to say at the quarterback. Can you play?
Leadership is winning games to me.
Or can't you play? Yeah.
Leadership is winning games, you know? So
let me ask you this question. Dak Prescott has one regular season game.
I consider you the leader on this show, Jody, and John is the follower.
I just follow Jody. We all know that.
That's okay.
All right. I'm sorry
if Jalen Hurts has Dak Prescott's average year this year, which would include making the playoffs, maybe getting beat in the playoffs, just not beaten like a drum the way they were by Tampa last year. Yeah, exact same as the Cowboys. Have a chance to actually win the game, and you can't get up to the line of scrimmage in time to spike the ball. That's the kind of year Jalen Hurts has. If you're the Eagles, what do you do going forward into 2023? Are you talking about a contract extension, or you're saying, let's do this a year at a time? Is that enough for you to say, no, we got 2 first-round draft picks. We got to be thinking about going in another direction. If Jalen Hurts is Dak Prescott 2.0, what did the Eagles do?
Yeah, I think you still got to sign him because you can always trade him, right? You can always trade the guy.
If he's Dak Prescott, but statistic-wise, I got to pay him.
Yeah. Jody, I needed that example a few minutes ago, too, about getting him up to the line in time.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that was Dak's fault, by the way. He's got to understand in that situation, you got to hand the football to the official.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that.
By the way, I don't see Jalen doing something like that. I think he would know that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a football IQ play. He's got to understand the situation. But then too many people are like, oh, if he does the right thing. Where were they? The 20-something yard line, 22-yard line? They still got to throw the ball in the end zone to win the game. It's not, they're probably not going to win the game.
You know who does that? Aaron Rodgers.
The puncher's chance.
Right?
Aaron
Rodgers.
Sure. Walking off the field.
Yeah. No question.
So you still sign the guy. You're going to have to sign him. He can win games. There's just no doubt about Jalen Hurts' ability to win games. Is he the guy that's going to take you deep into the playoffs? TBD.
Yeah. Matthew Stafford, by the way, wasn't a leader until last year, and all of a sudden he's a leader because he's got better.
I don't
players.
know. He was, but he was a leader on a franchise where players went to die. Jeez. Yeah, that's hard. That's what I mean.
Matthew Stafford was the same player he was in Detroit. I mean, people act like the quarterback is the be-all, end-all. you do need other talent around you. And Matthew Stafford probably proves that better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Because for years, he was with that direct, and everybody's like, he's overrated. Jody knows I've always been a Stafford guy. I finally got validated last year. Probably should have saved that poor woman on the podium at the Super Bowl parade. She fell off. You remember that? That was terrible. And Matthew Stafford just walked away. His poor wife had to handle that. So maybe he's not the best leader in the world, but he's a heck of a quarterback.
That wouldn't have happened with Jalen Hurts. He would have. If he didn't catch her, he would have helped her up.
I think he had a few Tom Brady's. You know, Tom was 3 sheets to the wind at the Super Bowl parade the year before. I think same thing with Matthew.
Yeah, but this is going to be a key OTA today, guys.
Matthew Stafford, now excellent pitch man, winking in the telephone commercials. He's got some ground toss there.
Big star.
All right, OTA. Who you standing next to, Grotz? Know that they bunch you guys tight. They try and keep you all close together. Actually, they probably let you spread out as much as you want.
Yeah,
who's the guy you don't want to be standing next to during your hour out in the sun today?
Oh boy, you know what? There's not just one guy. I could list about 11 guys. Yeah.
All right. Well, if the easier question is who do you want to be standing next to,
John
McMullen, who you don't want to be standing next to?
I want to be next
to
John McMullen and Ed Kratz.
Yeah. The list of people you want to be next to, Bob is right, is much smaller than the list that you don't want to be next to.
All right, then we'll let you get to it, Bob Grotz. Thanks for hopping on with us today.
I hope I didn't kill your ratings today. You know,
no. See, you're so much smarter than me. I say stupid things like Lawrence Taylor is better than Reggie White, and I tick off all the Eagle fans. You just go ahead and bury the Detroit Lion fans where careers go to die. You don't have to worry about that. We got 2 Detroit Lion fans.
I'm telling you, Bob, Jody's eyes light up whenever I say Bob Grotz is coming on the show. He loves Bob
Grotz is coming on the show.
He loves.
All right, guys.
We have equally cynical point of views. I just keep them to myself. You share.
I got to get hydrated.
Get hydrated. Get ready for an afternoon.
All right, thanks, Bob.